So I was looking through my Battletech archive of vlogs here on my channel and videos, and I'm trying to get some ideas of not only where am I going next, but a couple of machines that I might have missed or Tactica, positioning my channel, positioning this archive so that as new players jump into Battletech, they've got some resources. For those of you who have discovered my channel, I appreciate the comments tremendously. I've often said this, you're my secret weapon. I get a lot of great ideas that maybe I would have come to some of these Tactica ideas on my own by playing lots and lots and more Battletech, but you have cut down my learning curve amazing. You have sped up the process and given me some amazing ideas that probably just based on player personality, I don't know if I would have come to a similar conclusion or it would have been a lot of games to get there. So I appreciate that feedback, and I'm looking to see, are there some areas to cover, positioning for the new box sets coming in, and kind of setting everything ready. And what I noticed just looking on the sort, looking on some basic analytics in YouTube, I noticed that it wasn't so much post date. It wasn't like, a year ago I posted a Battletech video, so there's more hits on that video, more views on that video, more listens on that vlog, compared to something today. There's a little bit of that, but it was interesting to see the stratification that in terms of views, interactions, and comments, stuff that rose to the top of the list, the weight rose to the top, some things on the bottom. And it was interesting what those units, what those mechs were in terms of popularity and comments. And I wanted to do kind of a little roundup here, not only to point those to your attention, but just on the feedback and the interaction of the Battletech community, possibly adding to your collection, considering in your collection, and again, looking to position ourselves so we're really, really strong when those new plastics arrive. So what was interesting, my vlogs on some of the classic mechs that are out there. You would expect the Warhammer, you would expect the Marauder, the Crusader, various very, very popular inner sphere machines, the Archer, Longbow, maybe. They got some good hits, but one of the top videos was the Hunchback. The Hunchback. And I have to say, this did surprise me a little bit at first because, the Hunchback's a cool mech. I play it. I love it. It's one of the machines that if I had to pilot, I feel pretty confident, similar with the Valkyrie. I think in a variety of roles I could do pretty well. But is it a well-known mech? I think it generates a lot of interest because it's got that autocannon 20 on a medium mech. It's got the lasers in the arms, so you've got three things to fire, and by the nature of it wanting to use that AC-20 and get close, you can hit with the autocannon 20, and if you're that close point blank, you might as well punch. And for the battle value and speed, it makes a good city fighter, city mugger, makes a good bodyguard mech. I think it's a more popular mech than beginner players realize. And beginner players, I think they'll eventually come around to the Hunchback and similar machines, but getting it front and center if you're organizing your purchases or looking to kind of beef up your lance after a couple of games, I think the Hunchback should be up there. Exploring vehicles. The number one was short-range missile carriers, SRM carriers. And Tactica for SRM carriers. Buy two of them. That's like all we really need to say. Yes, there's a massive learning curve in playing this because you need to get super, super close. And it's a vehicle with pretty much paper-thin armor, high battle value, and extremely short range. So there's a lot of what-ifs to get it there. But every single mech, every single vehicle is afraid of this thing. The first time you look at it, you're like, how many missiles is that? Is that a mistake? It's crazy with what it puts out. But it is high battle value for the vehicle. But it's a lot of fun to play, especially in missions that you have hidden units or missions where you're hull down, or in city fight, city tech, it's just beast mode on. Assault mechs are starting to cry. Assault mechs are like, send in the lights first and let's scout this out, where normally they're just like smashing through everything. That said, out in the open or on normal hex maps, they're just, life expectancy is like 3 turns. That's about it. But extremely, extremely popular. Other videos that were popular were infantry, various infantry tactics. And I think that didn't really surprise me that much, because as soon as you jump into combined arms and you read some of the narratives of Battletech, you realize infantry, despite the tech and Knights of the Realm and the feudal states and all this kind of sci-fi, 80s sci-fi, infantry are still very, very important on the battlefield, and they still have a place. And really, in any engagement, mechs versus vehicles, infantry is there adding to the weight of it. And there is something in the narrative, just the glory of downing a mech and infantry standing on top, posing heroically for the picked feeds and videos. I mean, that narrative captures my imagination. So I think jumping into infantry, when you start looking at combined arms, it's kind of obvious. What did not surprise me was the Karnov. The Karnov had some good hits. We had some good discussion going on. I think because it involves some of the rules with vertical rules and flying and getting into air support. It's a little bit intimidating jumping into Battletech and playing mechs and vehicles and infantry, but at least they're kind of the 2D, but jumping to the 3D with elevation, it can be a little bit. It opens up a lot. But the duality, I wanted to push that out there, talking about ranking. Karnovs for the battle value are fantastic. I mean, for the lulls, you can run the one with the autocannon 20, but at the same time, putting infantry in there. I mean, you're already going into the infantry. Putting infantry in there opens up so much for rapid insertion. Just that map, I forget which hex map it is, but there's like a nice cluster of heavy woods in the center. You zip forward with the Karnov turn 1. Then you disembark, you get the infantry out in those woods before, even those light mechs can get up there. You've got a nice little speed bump for like no battle value whatsoever. And then the Karnov can spot, it can go around. There's a lot of things it can do for the minimal battle value. And then some of the videos that I have to circle back around on, and I have to look through my collection because I've been negligent here. Just look, there's so many fun toys and tactics to play. Hover units, hover vehicles. I mean, I covered a few. I've played a few. I have some that I always tend to play, but I have other ones in my collection that I've cycled through. I wanted to push out some more on the hovers because they're very, very unique in Battletech. In a game where speed and mobility is important, and mounting weapons and being able to engage other units for minimal battle value, there are very, very few downsides to having hover units. And in terms of prioritizing and adding combined arms to your collection, yes, infantry. Yes, some core battle tanks. But I would say even, honestly, before the infantry, first get those short-range missile carriers for the lulls. Once that's out of the way, I would say before anything else jumping into combined arms, investing in some light and medium hover units, they're always going to have a place. And they have tremendous tactical flexibility, a lot of diversification and variance, and they're going to give you a lot of different things to think about and play. And in looking at the rankings, I realized, hey, I want to push those out. I want to push those out a little bit more. So now I'm going to turn over to you guys. Again, the secret weapon. If you are new to Battletech, maybe you are new to Battletech, or you've been playing for a while, you've got your core set. You've got the starter sets. You've got a couple of the Lance packs, because now, delivery, let's say this vlog, advance the time frame, 6 to 8 months. You're looking to branch out. What units would you recommend? And it could be mechs, it could be vehicles, it could be air. What units would you recommend to purchase that have a variety of roles or would be really, really fun? Just those auto includes, those wargaming auto includes that are always going to have a place in your collection.